Okay, our General Manager and Executive Vice President, Greg Williams, will now give his report. Greg?
Thank you, Robert. Good morning to each and every one of you. I don't know what it is about this section over here, but it's extremely lucky. I don't know if you might want to move or something here. Very, very interesting. But welcome to your annual meeting. This marks the 76th year that we've been gathering together as members of Appalachian Electric Cooperative. And I really could not be more pleased that you've come out this morning to be a part of this event to visit with us, to visit with neighbors and friends, and hopefully learn a little bit more about your co-op and all the ways that we work hard to add value to the lives of our members. I also want to add my thanks to our guests today who have joined us on this special occasion. Now, to put this event into context, I want you to know that nothing else that we do all year long means more to us than the opportunity we have to be right here with the folks that we serve. It is indeed a very special occasion. So let me begin by asking you a question. Have you ever stopped to wonder how your co-op is different from a municipal-owned utility? For instance, like KUB, Knoxville Utility Board, or even MUS, Morristown Utilities, or even an investor-owned utility, say like Duke Energy. I mean, they all provide electricity to the homes and businesses located within their service territory, right? Yes, they do. The answer lies in our unique business model, as outlined in these 7 cooperative principles. This is the framework upon which our cooperative is built. It truly distinguishes us from other types of electric utilities in some very important ways, which we refer to as the cooperative difference. Now, it's hard to convey just how significant this is and how much it means to you as our members, but it's truly what sets us apart. Now, one of these principles is being demonstrated right here today with the first balloted election we've had since 1978. We had to go way back in the record books to find that. When you received your ballot upon registering for today's meeting, and when you made your decision about which candidate to elect to our board of directors, you were actively engaged in one of those principles, and that's democratic member control. I know this is a responsibility you take seriously, since the directors we elect are your voice, they're my voice, on our board. By setting policy for AEC, these men and women guide the co-op's direction, and they make financial decisions that keep us physically sound. The requirements are rigorous, the hours are long, but our directors are ever mindful of the fact that they really work for you. Now, speaking of their work for you, let's look back at some of what's happened since we met here last year. At that time, I announced an exciting new project. AEC had been chosen as one of only 2 recipients of a TVA award to develop and construct a utility-scale community solar facility. We are the first in East Tennessee. It was a huge honor to have been chosen from applicants all across the valley, and another example of the mutually beneficial partnership with TVA, as Laura mentioned earlier. Today, I'm happy to be able to tell you that that project, and you see the pictures here, is very near completion. In fact, we're hoping to commission it probably around November the 1st. Best of all, it's fully funded through the TVA grant and a purchase power agreement from TVA with no impact to electric rates. Now, some of you may have seen it just off Highway 11E in New Market, right next to our substation. Over 9,000 solar panels will generate an estimated 1.8 million kilowatt hours in the first year of operation. Now, as AEC members, you and I have the opportunity to subscribe, to share, or support this local initiative to produce and distribute clean, renewable energy. Now, whether you rent or whether your property might be shaded by trees, or you simply don't wish to install and maintain a solar array, you can participate and benefit from Co-op Community Solar. And as of this past week, we've had well over 500 of those panels now subscribed by members just like you. Now, perhaps today you picked up one of the brochures, hopefully you did, from their member services booth today, or of course you can go to our website and learn all sorts of things about this project. But to get started, come by the co-op and see the good folks in our member services department. The sooner you sign up, the greater return you'll realize on your investment. Now, we're continually working to find ways to make our community stronger and the lives of AEC members better. With that goal in mind, we've been considering whether it makes sense to be involved in an effort to deliver broadband internet service to our members. Now, we greatly appreciate the input we've received from folks like you, our members, because your views do matter. Proposed legislation affecting this type of project will soon be before the Tennessee State Legislature. It'll be coming up in January. And let me assure you, this is a very fast-moving situation, and we want to be very careful about committing any funds until we're sure of being able to protect the interest of those that we serve. Basically, we're in a wait-and-see mode right now. If things move in the right direction to consider going ahead with this type of project, you can be sure your board will be carefully considering the idea in light of what's best for the cooperative and our members. Now, a year ago, our Coop Connections card program was brand new. Since then, many hundreds of your fellow AEC members have saved now more than $10,000 on prescription medications and other items. Folks, this is real value, and it's absolutely free. And it's another benefit that you get from being a member of the co-op. If you've lost your card and you need another one, please reach out to our member services department. Now, it's always interesting to learn about the latest developments, but sometimes the very best news is not new at all. Every single year for the past 75 years, your cooperative's general manager has announced the finding of a clean audit report, one that fairly represents AEC's financial status. Now, think about that track record for a moment. That's 3/4 of a century when our members could have complete confidence in our physical accounting. Just because it always seems to happen this way is not a reason just to take it for granted. A great deal of work and many long hours go into ensuring that we maintain that record. And Vice President of Administration Connor Fry and the Co-op's Finance Director Robert Gass deserve much of the credit for continuing this remarkable achievement into this year. Their work reflects the fact that we have a responsibility to take the money that you pay us through your electric bill and manage it with the utmost care. And I can assure you, I take that very seriously. Another important part of what we do is to bill our members correctly each and every month. As our regulator, TVA, conducts an annual audit of our rates and billing processes. And I'm proud to say that we received a score of an A for those results. It really just all goes back to our mission, which is one that is not about making money for shareholders. It's a not-for-profit organization. We were created for no other purpose than to improve the quality of life of our members by bringing them reliable electric service in a safe, courteous, and timely manner and at the lowest possible cost. Now, with our current electric bills reflecting a level of use associated with many days of temperatures above 90, and all of us realize it's been a hot summer, obviously we probably cannot remember what last winter was like. And last winter was a very, very mild winter. And as a result, our 2016 fiscal year kilowatt-hour sales reflect that. We were actually down almost $5 million in revenue because of the drop in sales, and our power cost about the same. Additionally, from the finance perspective, making regular payments against the amount of debt that we carry, the principal balance has been reduced by almost $6 million over the past 2 years. Now, with the associated interest cost savings, we are now in a very strong position with regard to equity, or the amount of our plant assets that are fully paid for. In fact, we're right around 59% equity. We also have a comprehensive construction work plan that's in place that covers capital projects through 2018. And you will probably see in our financials that you'll see our debt probably go up just a little bit over the next few years as a result of this. We have a number of big projects coming out. For instance, we're getting ready to rebuild the substation in Bean Station. We have a major addition to the substation in Rutledge. And we have some significant upgrades to our delivery point station in White Pine. Now, we've just completed rebuilding a section of transmission line in the Bean Station area, and we're now working on a section in the New Market area. Now, the key to these big assets like this is we always want to pay for long-term assets over their lifetime, or for at least 30 years, because we do not want to drastically impact current electric rates. Now to expenses. Expenses for operations and maintenance of the system continue to rise, obviously, just like due to inflation, and we are very focused on doing everything we can to reduce cost, but without compromising reliability. For example, a recent LED lighting project at our headquarters is creating a net savings of more than $13,000 per year, on top of almost $4,000 in savings we're realizing from an earlier lighting upgrade in our warehouse building. And I'm really proud of our employees. They just formed what's called a Go Green Committee, and they're continually looking for ways that we can reduce, recycle, and reuse. We also had a recent modification to our vegetation management program that's netting an additional $50,000 in savings. Now, despite all those efforts to trim cost, we've reached a point where we have determined that a very small rate increase is necessary. It's not just optimal, it's not something we thought we'd do just because it makes things easier, but it is necessary. After 3.5 years, we have been holding rates steady for the co-op. This is our portion of the electric bill, not the piece that goes to TVA, but the piece that goes to your co-op. We've held that steady for 3.5 years, and we simply cannot delay any longer. So an overall increase of 1% will generate about $700,000 in additional revenue this fiscal year, and that's the minimum amount we believe will be required to offset increasing expenses and keep operating safely and reliably. Now, for most folks here today in the residential group, this will translate to an added $1.50 on your monthly base charge. Now, this increase is on top of the TVA increase that Laura mentioned earlier. So the total, 1.5 from TVA, 1 from us, that's 2.5%, or for most residential members, that translates into $3.62 on your monthly bill. That's on average. Now, my hope, my goal, is that we continue to implement cost-saving measures that will allow us to make the revenue generated by this increase get stretched, that we can make it stretch for at least 2 years. However, let me share with you some really good news that I think will help in this regard. After an extended period of essentially flat growth as a co-op, we are now growing again. We were up more than 300 new electric accounts when I spoke to you at this time last year. Today, we've added an additional 400 metered accounts this year. And we've reached a symbolically significant number as of the end of last month we are now standing at 46,031 metered accounts. But while we enjoy celebrating exceeding 46,000 for the first time in co-op history, I'll let you know, I'm actually looking forward to the day that I can stand here and say that we've hit 47,000. So that's a good thing, because growth helps us offset cost increases to operation and maintenance. So let me conclude my remarks to you today with a reference to the future. Your board of directors and management staff are right in the middle of updating the co-op strategic plan. Strategic plan is like a blueprint, and it helps guide us, in this case, for the next 3 to 5 years. We last went through this process back in 2012, and it truly has been invaluable in guiding our decision-making and our resource planning. But time passes, situations change, members' needs evolve, and now it's time for a fresh look. Within the context of 4 focus areas: plant and reliability, member services, rates and finances, and workforce, we are revisiting our strategic objectives and the initiatives, or you might call them action items, that we'll need to undertake in order to reach them. And this will be a collaborative effort between the board, the management staff, and the employees, all of whom will be looking to the plan for guidance on the co-op's direction for the future. Now, at this point, we don't know exactly what will be included in the plan, but you can be assured that we will hold ourselves accountable to it. And I look forward to sharing some more details next year. Until then, I'm going to leave you to consider the theme of AEC's new strategic plan: member-owned and service-driven. That tells you a lot about this plan and what this co-op is all about. Thank you for being here today. I hope you have a great rest of the day.